we understood that, apprenticeship programs, there's substance to it. It can help us shorten the skill gap. The advantages, if someone has to go about implementing it, there's a certain structure, set process. It's not that you have to reinvent the wheel. You can, leverage the existing infrastructure or the methodologies to start an apprenticeship program. So, Rich, my question was that, I wanted to get some of your thoughts in terms of what are some of the measurable benefits through which we can gauge the ROI of these programs?
A very interesting question, because I found myself telling people that going from a for-profit startup to a nonprofit startup, instead of maximizing shareholder value, I maximize human capital. And after we graduated a couple classes, I sat down and decided to see if we could measure it. So I came up with a measure I call return on investment in human capital. And what we did is, over a 5-year period, we took the increase in wage coming out of our program for the percentage of people that were employed, not every graduate, and we measured the increase in wages. We assumed they'd stayed on the track and progressed up to the average wage over 5 years, about 70 grand in Mississippi. And we took that difference and totaled it and divided it by the investment in each coder. We also tried to calculate, so we calculated 3 things: the increase in income, and then the likely increase in GDP, using either a 2 multiplier, which is what you use for non-tech industries, or a 5 multiplier, which is what you use in tech industry. We found that the return on invested capital was 10 to 30 times over 5 years with no terminal value. So that's a very specific quantified measurement. Has a lot of assumptions in it, but it leaves out things like assuming they become the senior DevOps engineer that at the 150. We didn't estimate that. If somebody went to college after our program, and we had one person who dropped out of college, finished our program, and then got a full ride to Dillard University in New Orleans, we didn't include them. So it's probably a pretty conservative number. Now, that's the tangible. The intangible is most of our people in our day program, which is Monday to Friday, 9 to 3:30, are minimum wage workers, and there was no future visible for them other than minimum wage work. They now have a career. They don't have a job, they have a career. Their friends have seen them do something that nobody thought they could do. Their entire community has seen that. And the ripple impact is awesome. And we're 70% African-American, 30% female, but now that Willie's joined, we're up to 50% female. So Willie, you might address the impact on the community.
It's huge, and I'm glad you mentioned the woman piece. I always tell people, when you empower women, you're empowering the families and communities and your economy for where you are, because of the many areas that women touch. And so these types of programs, apprenticeship programs, and then of course our whole program at Mississippi Coding Academy empowers that particular area. And when we can add services like apprenticeship programs to the equation, then you're going to have the capacity of the individuals that you're going to be able to serve expands. The quality of the training for the particular coder or particular participant is going to be better, because she or he is going to be able to focus on the training and not have to deal with all of those outside challenges they may have around employment. And so the employer ends up getting a better quality individual. And so when you talk about rate of return or rate of investment, rate of the return on your investment, you're investing in a much better output. You got more individuals that's going to be retained in the program because of apprenticeship programs, and you're going to have a better quality individual because they're going to be very focused and they're going to get everything they need during that training process to come out. And that's why I'm extremely excited about apprenticeship programs and what they do, and especially about this conversation around it. So it must be on the rise here on the national level. And one of the questions I asked while you were off, I wanted to ask to our moderator is, how much are we using apprenticeship programs on a national level for these types of skill levels that we're talking about today?